All right, in this video, we're going to get a basic introduction to objects, JavaScript objects. And JavaScript objects are another type of data structure, but in this data structure, the key focus is the idea of key value pairs. Okay, these are called properties. So this object will have a whole bunch of properties. For example, this point object has an X property, a Y property, and a label property. And those properties are made up of these key value pairs. The key is X and its value is 2. The key is Y and its value is 3. The key is label and its value is A. I think I often just call it the X property, right? Which denotes the value, the key and the value. Okay. Let's do an example in here just to play around with it. Let's do let user1 or player1. Let's try that. Player1. And we're going to assign them to an object. Now here, you can do an object on one line. And I kind of wanted to show you that because it is really just one definition, right? There's one variable we're creating and we're assigning it to be a single object. But it's more common to create your objects like this so you can see the individual properties here. Okay, so player1, we're going to hit enter here. I'm going to do my semicolon now as a reminder that this is the end of the line. And inside of here, we'll do all the different properties. So player1 maybe has a name, right? And the name property is going to be, I don't know, Sam. Hi, Sam. Okay. And then we should maybe there's a score property, right? Sam's score starts at 0. And maybe we have like a level, what level they're on. We'll start at level 1. Okay, so you can access these, you can keep listing with commas, right? Separate each of the properties with commas. And you can list as many properties as you'd like. Okay, so again, let's save this and open it up in here. And in our objects, what did I call it? Player1, I think. Yeah, again, so if we type out that variable player1, you'll see, okay, look, it's got this name, Sam, score 0, level 1. Again, you can open it up like this and see them in order like so. Okay, so very similar to an array, but instead of having like an index of 0 and an index of 1 and an index of 2, instead of the index values, we've got these properties, right? The key values. So when we look up a value, we don't go player1 position 0. That doesn't make sense. That's what we do with arrays. With objects, we can use dot notation. So you can say, hey, player1 is my object. I want to look up the specific property for the object's level. So I would go dot level. And when you go player1 dot level, it'll look up the level key or property and give you the value 1. Okay, so player1 dot name like so, and player1 dot score. Okay, and you can overwrite these things. Hey, player1 is going to change their name to be Super Sam. Right, so now if I look up player1, they've updated their name to Super Sam. Okay, so you can use that dot notation to access the different properties. Instead of dot notation, you can also access with square brackets, just like we did with an array, right? The square brackets and then the index value. But in this case here, we do player1 square bracket, and then you would give the name of the property you're looking for. So score, let's say. Okay, so it's the same as doing player1 dot score, player1 square bracket, and then score as a string. Okay, for the property there. And dot notation is definitely more common, I think, but there are definitely some instances where accessing this way is useful, especially since this could technically be a variable. Right, the key could be a variable that you could pass in there. Anyway, that's the main idea of objects. You can also add new objects, add new properties. So player1, and you could go dot. What else do we want to do? Lives is assigned 5. Right. So that's a way we can add properties to it. Just do the dot notation and say, oh, I don't have a lives property, and it'll add it and assign it to be a starting value. Okay, so again, an object, collection of key value pairs, right? These different properties. Really nice because in one variable, you can store a whole bunch of information that's labeled, right? It doesn't have to be ordered. We look up things by their property name, the property key. Okay, that's an introduction to objects. Hope you find them useful. All right, take care and see you next video.